The Wellington Tower stood tall over the Manhattan skyline, its glass windows reflecting the last streaks of sunset as the city hummed beneath it. Inside, on the 50th floor, the mood was even brighter than the view. The executives of Bradford and Carter sat around a polished mahogany table, basking in the glow of their latest achievement, a $500 million investment deal secured through an angel investor whose identity remained a mystery. The wire had come through just that morning. It was official. They were about to expand into global markets, something they had dreamed about for years. The head of the table, Michael Harrington, CEO, leaned back in his chair, his cigar resting between two thick fingers. He was smug, as he should be. This was his moment. "Unbelievable work, gentlemen," he said, his voice rich with satisfaction. Our company just got its golden ticket. We are officially playing in the big leagues." The room erupted in agreement. The deal was huge, but none of them had even met the investor who made it happen. That wasn't unusual, though. Some of the richest, most powerful people in the world preferred anonymity, letting the numbers speak for themselves. All that mattered now was that they had the money. And the future? It was theirs. Across the room, a woman silently worked. She wore a blue cleaning uniform, her dark brown curls pulled back into a simple ponytail. She moved with quiet efficiency, wiping down the side table, gathering empty glasses. Her presence was barely noticed, just another nameless staff member in the machine of corporate success. Maya Williams had been here for 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks, she had watched everything. She knew how these men operated, the way they spoke in numbers, never in people. How they viewed their employees as figures on a spreadsheet, interchangeable and disposable. She also knew they were arrogant enough to overlook the obvious. And tonight, they would prove it. Michael clinked his whiskey glass against the CFO's. To the future. A round of cheers. A few executives leaned back in their chairs, feeling untouchable. And then, it happened. It started as a whisper between two men. A low, murmured comment that should have died in their own circle but quickly spread like wildfire. "Jesus, they're hiring supermodels to clean the floors now?" Maya's hands stilled. She kept wiping the table, her expression unreadable, her back to them, but she heard everything. From across the room, David Langston, the CFO, chuckled, swirling his drink. "I mean, seriously, what a waste of talent. You could make 10 times what you do now, sweetheart. Maybe even more." The men laughed, the kind of laughter that rolled through the room like smoke, thick, casual, disgusting. Maya's grip tightened around the cloth. She felt the familiar sting of rage at the back of her throat, but she swallowed it down. Not yet. They weren't done. Michael leaned forward, his cigar smoldering in the ashtray. "Listen, darling, I like ambition," he said, watching her now with an undeniable hunger. "And I have a feeling a girl like you could go far in this company, if you're willing to play ball." Another executive snickered. "Not sure she needs a mop for that." More laughter. Maya set down the glass she had been holding. She exhaled slowly, steadying herself. Then she finally spoke. "So this is how Bradford and Carter treats its investors." Silence. The laughter died instantly. David Langston blinked. "What did you just say?" Maya turned around. For the first time, she met their eyes, not as a cleaning woman, not as someone beneath them, but as something far greater. Her expression was calm, her voice unshakable. "I said," she repeated, "I'm the reason you all still have jobs." A beat. Then the entire room changed. The silence in the boardroom stretched thick and heavy. Maya stood tall and still, watching as the weight of her words landed like a grenade at the center of the table. For a moment, nobody moved. The executives, the same men who had laughed at her just seconds ago, were now frozen, their faces a mix of confusion, disbelief, and something else creeping in beneath the surface. Fear. Michael Harrington, the CEO, narrowed his eyes, his mind scrambling to process what he had just heard. "The hell do you mean by that?" he asked, a forced chuckle rolling off his tongue. It was a nervous chuckle, not the kind of laugh he had let out before. Maya reached into the pocket of her uniform, pulled out a sleek black business card, and slid it onto the mahogany table. The room collectively leaned forward. On the card, embossed in elegant silver letters, was her real name, Maya Williams, founder and CEO W Investments. Michael's jaw tightened. David Langston's face paled. One of the younger executives, a VP with a trust fund who had been laughing the loudest earlier, muttered under his breath, "No fucking way." Maya crossed her arms, allowing the silence to stretch again. It was her favorite part, the moment people realized exactly who she was and how badly they had screwed up. "You're lying," Richard Calloway blurted out. "Am I?" A soft ding echoed through the room as a new email notification popped up on the massive conference screen behind her. Michael turned his head toward the screen, blinking rapidly. It was from the company's finance department. Subject: investor confirmation, funds received from W Investments. Michael's throat went dry. There, in clear black and white text, was the $500 million wire transfer that had saved the company. Maya smirked, just slightly, before pulling out the chair at the head of the table, the seat that Michael had occupied just moments ago. She lowered herself into it, crossing her legs slowly, deliberately. "Now that we've established who I am," she said smoothly, her voice as calm as a sharpened blade, "let's talk about your future." The executives exchanged frantic glances, their previous arrogance crumbling before her. Maya could feel it happening in real time, the power shift. The moment they realized they had played themselves, she let them wallow in it. Then, she leaned forward, placing her elbows on the table. "You all sit here, congratulating yourselves on securing a deal you didn't even know how to make," she said. "Meanwhile, when you thought I was beneath you, you made it painfully clear how you see women, how you see Black women." Nobody spoke. Maya's voice remained steady. "You think this is the first time I've heard men like you talk like that?" she asked. "The first time I've been underestimated, looked down on?" Michael cleared his throat, trying to reclaim authority. "Look, Miss Williams," he began, forced charm dripping from his voice. "I'm sure this is all just a don't." Her voice sliced through his like a razor. Michael flinched. She smiled. "You don't get to talk over me now. You had your turn." Michael's face darkened, but he said nothing. Maya shifted her attention back to the group. "I invested in this company because I saw potential," she continued. "What I didn't see, character." The men shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "I don't invest in companies with liabilities," she added. "And frankly, you're a liability." Michael stiffened. "What are you saying?" Maya reached into her bag, pulled out a crisp stack of printed documents, and slid them across the table. Michael picked up the top page, his hands visibly tense as he skimmed through the first few lines. His face turned ghostly white. David Langston snatched the papers from him, his eyes darting wildly across the words. It was a resignation agreement, signed and dated. All it needed? Their names at the bottom. "Your names," Maya said, tapping a manicured nail against the table. "On my desk." By morning, the room remained deathly silent. The men stared at each other, and then just like that, they knew they had lost. Maya rose from the chair, smoothing down the front of her uniform, her disguise, the one they had all looked down upon. She glanced at the whiskey glasses on the table, the cigars still burning in the ashtrays, the remnants of their last moment of power. Then she turned toward the door. Pausing just before leaving, she said, "Enjoy your evening, gentlemen." And with that, she walked out, the only one in that room who had ever truly been in control. The moment Maya Williams left the boardroom, the oxygen seemed to vanish with her. For a full minute, the room remained silent, save for the crackling of ice melting in whiskey glasses and the slow tick-tick-tick of an antique wall clock. Michael Harrington was the first to react. He threw the resignation papers onto the table, his face burning red with humiliation and rage. "What the fuck just happened?" he hissed, his hands clenching into fists. Richard Calloway wiped the sweat from his brow, still trying to process the disaster that had just unfolded. She can't do this," David muttered. But the words remained the same. They were finished. Michael slammed his hand onto the table, making glasses jump. "This is bullshit." His voice was hoarse, like a man who had just been punched in the ribs. The board members, once the picture of arrogance, now sat slumped in their chairs, their minds scrambling for a way out. But there was no way out, because they had already lost. They had mocked the very woman who owned their fate. And now, their careers, reputations, futures, all of it rested in the hands of the woman they had dismissed as just a cleaning lady. David slammed a palm onto the table. "We can fight this." But Richard let out a long breath and shook his head. "No," he muttered. "We're not fighting this." Michael snapped toward him, his eyes wild. "Are you serious?" "Yes," Richard said simply. "She played us, Mike, and we let her." Michael wanted to scream. He wanted to throw his glass against the wall. But deep down he knew Richard was right. Maya Williams had walked in as a ghost, and walked out a god, and there wasn't a damn thing they could do about it. And this brings us to the end of the story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.